So we're really pleased to be able to offer this webinar to you all and share some timely tips and advice for everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Sarah Simons, the CEO of NumberWorks'nWords. NumberWorks'nWords provides maths and English tuition to school-age children, and we're very passionate about making a positive difference to the lives of our children. This is why we are excited today to be able to bring you our guest speaker, Maria Papoulias. Maria is a counsellor and social worker with over 25 years experience. She is passionate and committed to the idea of health with the combination of physical, emotional and spiritual well-being. Today, Maria will speak about mindfulness, mental health, including strategies that we can take away. And so now I'll pass you over to Maria.
Thank you very much. Hello and welcome. I'm Maria. And today we are, of course, addressing the coronavirus and the impact this is having on our society, our lives, and on our mental health. Before I begin the presentation, just a little bit about me. I have been a mental health counsellor for many years and have expertise in working with individuals, couples, families, and children. I specialise in relationships counselling, grief, loss, and trauma, as well as presentations of depression and anxiety. I have worked for many organisations and in private practice, as well as for the federal government providing counselling and mental health assessment for vulnerable members of the community. I was involved in the bushfire response after the Black Saturday fires in 2009, assisting members of the community to rebuild their lives. I facilitated groups for children and teenagers, utilising play, dance and art therapy to increase their resilience and healing. I have also worked in suicide prevention and healthcare. I use various modalities such as cognitive behavioural therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, narrative therapy, and psychotherapy, just to name a few. And as a social worker, I also work systemically and holistically to address social issues and their impact on individual mental health and well-being. I am passionate about mental health and wellness and enabling people to reach their goals in a collaborative, positive, and insightful way. I believe that every individual has the capacity for change and that a combination of psychotherapy and solution-focused strategies can address various mental health issues. So on to our topic. The coronavirus is a pandemic which has affected the world. As we speak, thousands of people have been infected, thousands of jobs have been lost, and people are dying. These times are akin to the World Wars and the Great Depression in terms of the effect this pandemic is having on the social fabric of our society. Although we have been combining physical and social activities and online activity, this balance is now shifting dramatically. We are isolated in our homes and relate to each other on online platforms. Although different locations have been affected at different times, and we are all at various stages of lockdown or isolation, questions arise for us all. How will this affect my relationship with my partner, friends, and family? What do I need to do to stay healthy, physically, emotionally, and spiritually? And how will this affect my child's education? Let's focus on mental health. We all know that holistic healthcare has been more and more popular in recent years. We now understand that psychological health is extremely important in overall health. We know the impact of trauma that has not been released and how it stays in the body, as well as other emotions and stress and anxiety. These events lead to changes in the brain, which is the foundation of neuroplasticity and the neuroscience phenomenon. We will talk more about neuroplasticity later in the presentation. This theory is also outlined beautifully in Bessel van der Kolk's book, The Body Keeps the Score. In this book, he talks about the physiological changes which occur in the body and brain as a response to stress. So, how can we manage ourselves during a pandemic? How can we keep mentally healthy? It is very challenging to display elements of positivity at times when our security is threatened, as in this pandemic of COVID-19. Not knowing. There is a whole element of not knowing, and I believe sitting with the not knowing is difficult. Not knowing how long this virus will last, the magnitude of its effect, if you and your family are safe from this war, what the impact will be on you financially and psychologically. Not knowing is very difficult to sit with, and it is one factor which leads to so much fear. So how do you sit with fear? Fear is defined as an unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, pain, or harm. Let us look at some ways to do that, to sit with the fear. Think about the things you can control, not what you can't control. You can control what you do daily in these current restrictions imposed upon us during the pandemic. You can control your movements, what you eat, what fitness regime you will elect to follow, who you will speak to on social media or on the phone. You can control your thoughts. Sometimes you feel you cannot, but you can. We'll talk more about thoughts and beliefs shortly. Remember, think of the things you can control rather than things you can't control. You can control what type of food you put in your body, what you do within your limited space, within your limited spatial environment. You can control what you say and the words you speak. The importance of routine. Try to keep some routine and structure in your day. You will need to enforce it, as it will not be enforced by an external entity as before. So thoughts come from underlying beliefs. Moving on, let's consider our thoughts. Albert Ellis, the American psychotherapist, postulated that it's the underlying beliefs which make up our thoughts, and then our response to those thoughts are our feelings. Let's talk a little bit about managing anxiety in this context. In terms of dealing with the coronavirus, COVID-19, how can we apply this to managing ourselves and our anxiety? If the belief is, I should be able to go out wherever I want, whenever I want, then the feelings around that belief might be shock, anger, disappointment, and sadness. So let's think about that belief. Perhaps we can challenge that belief. For example, I normally can go out where and when I want, but occasionally there will be things that will restrict that freedom. I would like to go out, but I can't go out now. Perhaps I will save that outing for a later time. I can't go out now, but perhaps I'll sit at home and talk with my children and do an activity. I can't go out now, but how great is it going to be in a few months when everybody will be having parties? All the party shops will be sold out, the venues will be packed out, the people will be happy and grateful, all the things that we often took for granted. Do you see how challenging your initial beliefs brings up a different set of thoughts? Subsequently, this would influence how you feel at any given moment. It already may feel and look like more of a conscious choice. Think about what you can control, and your beliefs are one of those things. Black and white thinking. Black and white thinking is a real barrier to challenging our beliefs. If we think in should or must, this will be a barrier in challenging our beliefs. This is the kind of strategy we need to put in around times of crisis, around times of difficulty, around times of challenge. We need to look at a different set of beliefs. Another belief in the context of education might be, my child must do very well in the face of this pandemic and social change. Challenging the belief. Perhaps challenging the belief could look like, I hope my child can respond to the challenges imposed upon them with this pandemic. What is it that I can do or we can do to address those challenges? Challenging any rigid thinking will allow for more creative problem solving. Earlier, I touched on the topic of neuroscience and neuroplasticity. For your understanding, I have included a description of this model. It is quite scientific, but it will assist you to understand why changing your beliefs is so important for good mental health. Changing your beliefs changes the neural pathways of your brain to make you feel happier and to have a more positive mindset. Please take a moment to look at this slide on neuroplasticity. How can we do that on an everyday basis? How can we challenge our beliefs in everyday life? Firstly, keeping good mental health is the first step in assisting children to manage themselves. It's like a domino effect. So how do you manage yourself in times of stress and distress? Role modelling and setting an example and self-care. Self-care is vital. There are many ways to put in self-care into your day. The old analogy of putting on the oxygen mask first to be able to assist others comes to mind. Some examples of self-care are going on a walk or run, listening to music, cooking, painting or other creative activities, gardening or writing. It is important for everybody in these times of crisis to have a self-care plan. This is important for yourself and your children. One strategy I recommend is to produce your own self-care wheel, which is included in a slide. When you look at your self-care wheel, you may notice how full of abundance your life is. In each section of the wheel, you can put in your own things that you like to do. For example, physical self-care, psychological self-care, spiritual self-care. Go over the self-care wheel and what is included in this. You may ask yourself, what do I need in my physical self-care, my emotional self-care today? What is off balance here? And how do I make my self-care wheel more balanced and holistic? So, visualizing abundance. Let's think about abundance and what comes to mind when you hear that word. Other words for abundance are plenty, riches, and wealth. What would you like plenty of? You may find that when looking at your self-care wheel, your life is more abundant with the things that you love and than what it appears to be. You are also modelling a course of proactive action to self-soothe in times of stress, an important lesson for your child. As has been noted, children of this age mostly learn by what they see, not what they are told is right or good. Role modelling is the way that they develop their own sound coping strategies. As well as modelling good self-care, remember to keep the connection with your child. We now have more time to work on our relationships with others, especially our children. So children and how they may respond. For the purpose of this presentation, I have divided the age brackets for children as younger children 3 to 12, pre-teenagers 12 to 13, and teens and young adults 14 to 17 and 18 to 24. Strategies for children. This may look slightly different in the younger age group where children respond to games and visual stimuli. Painting and drawing and drama and dance are a good way to express feelings that they cannot put words to. Playing games such as starting a sentence or question like, if you were the weather, what would you look like today? For example, cloudy sky with rain, blue skies, etc. So that the child can express their current mood. This is good for ages 3 to 9. In the older age groups, it is about having a conversation with your child. Be curious, ask, inquire, probe gently about how they are doing. Be alert to your child's mental health. Look out for any warning signs that they may not be okay. Be responsive. Give your child support. This can be as simple as listening to them and being there in whichever way is best for them. For example, being available but allowing them to feel that they have space and independence. Sometimes just opening the lines of healthy communication is all that is required for your child to feel supported. Listen, inquire, Be curious about their thoughts and feelings. Make time for them. Perhaps they have a special relationship with a mentor, either a family member or a friend. Make sure you nurture that relationship and enable it to grow and flourish. Your child may feel more comfortable sharing some information with them. Or support could look like doing a mutually enjoyable activity together. So preteens and teens, the focus should be on relationship building. Your aim should be keeping channels of communication open between you and your child, as I said earlier. Between 3 and 12, I believe it's okay to tell younger children that mummy and daddy cannot go out today or can't take you out because there are some germs out there that we can't take lightly and that we have to take seriously. We need to do this to make sure we all stay healthy so that we can play outside together soon. I think it's okay to be honest with children to a point. Do not catastrophize, which means referring to the worst case scenario. We need to diffuse children's anxiety by keeping it simple, the younger they are, and by not extrapolating anything from the facts. It is also not useful going into figures and statistics for younger children. Sometimes we must also think about, who am I talking about this for? If you find yourself wanting to debrief to your child, call a friend or speak to your partner. Make sure you have support too. Children need reassurance and security at this time. So things for parents to watch out for could be a change in eating patterns, eating less or more frequently, withdrawal, emotional reactivity, outbursts of anger, sleeping habits, excessive sleep or inability to sleep, irritability. These changes might mean that your child is feeling stressed and or anxious. So now back to strategies for looking after our own mental health. Meditation. To feel relaxed and calm, it is important to be reflective, groundful, and mindful of your surroundings. In doing so, you can develop an awareness which can assist you to manage your anxiety at this extraordinary time. It is important to think about practicing meditation daily. This can involve a guided meditation, which we are going to do later on today, or practicing mindfulness. There are many resources on mindfulness, but put simply, it's about being in the moment and savouring that experience. There are many reasons why mindfulness works to calm the neurotransmitters of the brain. Earlier, I spoke about the theory of neuroplasticity. This brings your attention to your inner self and to what is really going on for you at this moment. Knowledge is power. We cannot change what we do not know. There are many apps to assist with mindfulness that you can have a look at. The importance of movement. Being still is vital, but if you feel restless, it's important to move and feel grounded. Walk around your area or in the park or around the block or wherever you feel that you want to within your home or outside. The other day, I went outside after spending all day at home and I thought, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other and just walk. The longer I walked, the better I felt. The more empowered I felt, the more positive I felt. Putting one foot in front of the other and going on and forging ahead and going forward, because there is no other choice. There are lots of free classes online for dance and movement, and I encourage people to take those on and to participate in those classes, if that's something that they like. Pets. Don't forget about our pets. Pets can be a great source of comfort. As we comfort them, they comfort us. It's important to spend time with our pets and give them our affection, because every time we do that, we release our own endorphins and have a feel-good moment. And it's all about having feel-good moments. And we need to, as I said, step by step, moment by moment. A gratitude journal. These are the times to journal. These are the times to have a gratitude journal to talk about the things that we are grateful for daily. A gratitude journal is part of mindful living, and it involves noticing and documenting the things that you are grateful for in your day. Okay, so let's look at the impact on students. As schools have been shut down now for a while, the strategies discussed so far can assist with managing the students' anxiety in the face of all this uncertainty and improve their focus on their schoolwork online. Students need to take regular breaks in their study rituals. Students need to combine online learning with physical activity, meditation, and self-care practices. Remember, you as a parent are their greatest resource, so keep the lines of communication open with your child. Schools reopening versus online learning and reintegration moving forward. There will be a period of reintegration and adjustment for your child. This takes time. Everyone will have their own time frame to adjust. Your child may need a period to reintegrate. Reintegrating back into school and society, let them take it at their own pace. You may notice concerns arise, as mentioned previously in the section on what to look for and when to reach out for support. Keeping the things that we have learnt during this isolation. Do not lose the new qualities and strengths you and your child may have developed in your relationship and in their own development. These could be resilience, independence, resourcefulness. Ask yourself, what have we learned through this crisis? As a unit, you may have found new ways to communicate with one another more effective than before, leading to a stronger relationship. After every crisis, there is a period of reorganisation. Things fall back into place, but they look different. Take these differences forward and use them as strengths to navigate to your child's successful completion of their education. NumberWorks are here to support your family in this period of adjustment and new ways of learning and beyond. I hope that you have gathered some information and strategies which may be useful about how to navigate your family's well-being during these difficult and unprecedented times. Before I conclude this presentation today, I would like you to join me for a short meditation we can all do together. Let's begin our meditation. Make sure you are as comfortable as possible and gently close your eyes. Leave the world and any thoughts intruding in your mind outside, away from your awareness. I would like you to do some breathing exercises. Take a breath, hold for 5 seconds and release. Let's do this together. Breathe in and hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release and exhale. As you do so, relax your hands, arms and neck. Relax your calves and feet. Feel your feet firmly planted on the ground. And repeat. Breathe in and hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release and exhale. Repeat. Breathe in and hold your breath for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release and exhale. As you do so, all the tension will stay outside your body and you will feel calm, centered, and grounded. Now, very slowly, bring yourself back to the present moment and open your eyes. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. That was great. We don't have any questions. If anybody does have any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat box. Otherwise, thank you very much for listening, and we can send out information to you a little bit later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.